When I walk through the doors of Port Nelson United Church, I feel as though I've come home. It's a feeling of comfort and safety. Home is where you are loved, encouraged, accepted, and receive teaching. The worship services feed my soul and provide me with armor to live my life. For me, home is the most excellent place to be.
The charter service was back in April of 1952, and I was at that first charter service with my husband. It was at Glenwood School Road. The school is no longer there, but we met in the kindergarten room. We sat on kindergarten chairs, and we received our charter at that service.
I joined the church in 1960, that same year that Joan and I were married.
We were Jewett Parr's first big wedding after he came as our minister. This is a picture of us standing at the front of the church. There's also a picture there of my dad. This next picture is the wedding party coming out of the church.
Back in the 50s, Port Nelson was a very vibrant, active church with many, many members, over practically 1,000. I think we reached 800 maximum. Over the years, after Don Parsons left, we lost several members. Since Michael Brooks and Gord Dunbar came, we have been fortunate in having both of them, and so attendance is picking up again, and I'm very happy to see it.
When I was looking for a church to go to, I actually visited several, and there was a presence here that wasn't existing in other churches. And the beauty of coming into a church and having the fellowship time that's offered here after the church service is something that unites you together, and the way people accept you and make you a part of that existing family.
I was confirmed at Port Nelson. My wife and I were married here. Both of my daughters have been christened at the church.
I was confirmed here, and both our sons were christened here, and they also were confirmed and both married here in Port Nelson.
Port Nelson is a place where my larger family comes as well. On any given Sunday, you'll find my grandmother, my parents, my aunt and uncle, my wife, my kids in the pew. We also have a larger extended family, lots of friends and people who've adopted my children as kids to look out for and care for, and I know my children value the friendships they have created in the church, both with their peers as well as people who are much older than them, but still show them a lot of love and caring.
What I like most about children's time at the front of the church is when Reverend Michael or Reverend Gord hands out something to each of us and explains its meaning.
My family's been coming to this church since 1968, and since then it's been a place where we could all come together.
The thing that I treasure the most about coming to Port Nelson is that everyone here is so inclusive.
As a parent, I think that's incredibly important. We need to celebrate our diversity as a community and value all the aspects that every member of our community brings.
They all seem genuinely interested in what you're doing and what's going on in your life, and they also provide advice for you.
Port Nelson is my second home. I've grown up with Port Nelson. The friendships I've made at Port Nelson, not only with people my age, but those in the congregation as well. It's not just about religion at church, it's about religion and community coming together.
A lot of times the kids don't think it's cool to come to church anymore, but it really is, because you don't get the same connections at school that you do here.
And I think that's one thing that's missing today. I have a few friends who don't go to church, and they talk with their siblings, but they're not as close as what I see, with what I think I am with my siblings, my brother and sister.
The friends at church are different than the friends at school, and they just really understand you because you share common beliefs. I'm a violinist. I started to play the violin when I was 3.5 years old. I love performing here at church because it's a way for me to give back kind of to the community. I really believe in that. One fond memory for me was when the confirmation group worked at the Wesley Center. It was Christmas time and they give food and gifts to people who don't have as much as we do. And it was really great to be able to work with people less fortunate and help them out because it kind of made us realize how lucky we are.
I remember being a member of the youth group in this church when I was a teenager, and having Sunday evenings at the church, but also movie nights as well as camps away from church for a weekend up at places like Crieff Hills.
A very good friend of ours, Ken Lloyd, was church administrator, and he passed away. And when I was property chairman, when the fire department, if the alarm system went off and the fire department was called, I would come to inspect the building and let the fire department in. So this happened for several weeks in a row that I had to show up here because the alarm went off for no reason at all. And then one day I was going up the stairs and Ken Lloyd's picture is just at the top of the stairs, and I said, "Come on, Ken, if you want to see me, you don't have to keep ringing the bell." And it never went off since then.
And there's a joy inside my heart that wants to help others as the time reveals itself, so that, you know, when you go through something, it is good to have a source, an avenue, an outlet, an outreach. And Port Nelson United Church did that for me and my family, and I'm grateful that they've been here.
In the future, I see myself with Port Nelson. It's no matter how far away I travel or wherever my life leads me to, I always believe that I can come here and I can always be welcome here as a member of this church.
Happy Diamond Jubilee, Port Nelson.
Happy 60th Jubilee, Port Nelson.
Happy Diamond Jubilee, Port Nelson.
Happy Diamond Jubilee, Port Nelson United Church.
Happy Diamond Jubilee, Port Nelson.
That was good.